Well, hey everyone, it's 777, and in this video, I'm going to respond to a viewer request. He was asking me about my Horizon Hobbies Consendo that I had a video on, and I had mentioned that I set up Expo and rates on my airplane. Now, I just put this timber together, and I haven't done any Expo or rates yet, so I'm going to go ahead and attempt to clearly describe what dual rates and Expo is and how to do that on your Spektrum radio. So one of the first things that I'm going to do with my airplane is set up a throttle cut, because if you are doing this and you have the airplane engaged, you can easily hit the throttle and possibly cut yourself. So let's go ahead and do a throttle cut real quick. Well, okay guys, so I already have my throttle cut set up on the back 2-position switch right here. I usually have it on going away from me and a quick flick up to turn it off, in case that's kind of like the most natural thing that you can do with that throttle cut. So what you're going to do is go into your scroll wheel here, press it once, go down to throttle cut. So what you want to do is choose the switch that you want it to be on. What you do is you highlight the switch button here. Let's say if I hit this switch, it'll change it to F, but I want this switch right here, which is switch H, and that's basically it. So now, if I go back and I have this switch flipped up here, you can see that my throttle is no longer active. So that makes it safe to work on your model. And now if I flip it on, I have throttle off, on. Okay guys, so right now I've of course fully bound my airplane, and my rates are at 100%. So my ailerons have lots and lots of travel, 100%. Elevator has 100% elevator, and rudder has 100% rudder. So what I like to do on all of my models, and I do this throughout all of my builds, is I like to put a 3-position switch here for my ailerons. Every single model I have, it's always on this channel right here. And elevator is going to be a 3-position switch right here. I usually don't set up the rudder on a 3-position switch, but I do like to put some Expo on it. So let's go ahead and head into the menu and see how to do that real quick. So what I'm going to do is go down to dual rates and Expo. Dual rates is going to limit how far those ailerons go up. Let's say this is 100%, mid rate will be about here, and low rate will be about here. It just makes the airplane less or more reactive. So here's what we're going to do here. I'm going to click the thumb wheel here. I'm going to go down to aileron and down to dual rate. So on aileron, I have it on this switch right here. So I want to set that switch. I'm going to click this and just flick the switch here, and it'll already select it for you. I'm going to click that one more time. And so in the up position, I like to have it at 100%, and which will be my high rates, and then also low rates are going to be fully down. So let's go ahead and set up the rates real quick, and then we'll do Expo next. So the up position is going to be 100%. You'll see that. So we have curve 1, 0 is top. Curve 1 is the second middle position, so this will be mid rates here. Mid rates, I usually like to go down to about 80%, and then I'm going to go ahead and leave that blinking there. Switch it down to the second position here. So we had 80%. I'll go down to 65. I'll show you exactly what that did to the model here. I'll click that here. Now, if you'll take a look, I'm going to do my ailerons here. So this will be 100% right here. Second position and low position. So that just takes a little bit of the travel out of the RC system there. And that has quite a bit of travel even at the low rate, so I could actually go down a little bit further. So let me just take a look here. I'm at the lowest rate here, so I'm going to switch this down to 50%. And you can play around with these rates here. I'm going to go middle rate. I'm going to take that down to 75. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, so let's see what that did for us here. Let's go to 70. Okay, so that's my mid rate right there. So we'll go. This is high rate, mid rate, low rate. So that you can see what that'll do for you. It's going to limit how far those servos go. So if you're a beginner, you might want to start off on low rate. And actually, most of my flights I start off on mid rate or low rate. So let's do the same thing for the elevator here. So we have the elevator. You can see what's going on here. I'm going to set it up on this switch right here. So let's go back into our radio system here. Okay, let's go into our elevator, which should be the next one over here. And we're going to change our switch. So we're going to go down to switch, flick this switch right here, which is usually the same switch that I use every time for elevator. Just like that. Now we'll go down to dual rates. Up position is going to be 100% again. I'll go to mid. This is my mid position. I'll switch this to 80%. And then I'll go down to low rate, which is going to be 80. Let's try 65, just to make it dramatic here. Here's 100%, mid rate, and low rate. You can see it just barely moving there as I move that around. Now what I'm going to do is put everything into high rates here. So I've got full rates here. You can see here it's quite reactive in the center of the stick here, so I'd like to deaden that a little bit, and that's what Expo does for you. It gives you a little bit more of a dead feel in the center, so it's not quite so reactive. I'm going to do that with the elevator and also the ailerons. So let's do ailerons first. All right, everyone, let's go back to our aileron, and let's go to Expo. And you're going to take a look at the graph here. It's going to show what the Expo is actually going to do. I'm going to swipe to the right here. And you can see that as you can see the representation here of, it's going to make that a little bit more dead in the center. So I usually run 30% on all my models here. So you can see now in the middle, it's not quite as reactive. Now let's go ahead and make this really dramatic so you guys can really see what happens. If let's say I put in 60 or 70%, you can see that middle bit is still very, very dead. And if I go full, it ramps up at the end. You'll see that represented right here. So going slowly, and the travel tends to ramp up towards the end of the travel. So I like to do that 30% on all my models here to start off with. So I'm going to do that on all of each position switch here. So there's position 0, 100%, 70%. We're going to go to 30 again. 30, 31, it doesn't really matter. And here we are at 30% here. So on my aileron, I've got a little bit more of a dead feel right in the center, so you can give it maybe that extra control that you need so it's not quite so reactive. So I'm going to do the same thing on the elevator. Elevator, and the cool thing is you can press this, make it blink, and we're at 100% right now. This is our first position. Just go to 30, click the switch to mid, go to 30, and switch again to the low position and go to 30. Okay, so now I've got my 3 position switches on my elevator and my aileron. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So here we go. Okay guys, so one thing I also like to do is I like to have a voice command for each of these positions here, low, medium, and high. So I'm just going to do a little bonus here where we can go back into our main function list here. We're going to go to the custom voice setup. I'm going to use a new sound event. I guess it's a switch changing event or switch change report. I'm going to click on that. So I'm going to go down to switch. I'm going to click on that. I'm just going to flick this switch here, and that's going to tell it which switch that I want. That's switch F. So in position 0, that is my high rate. So what I want to do is click on this. I'm going to go down to the rates, which is just slightly off the very top of this menu here. So I'm going to click on high rates, go down to the second one, go down to mid rates, and we'll do the position 2 as low rates. I'm going to click that one right there. So now we have this. You'll listen.
Mid rates, high rates, low rates.
So I'm going to do the same thing for this other side here. Super easy. You just add a new event by going back, and you go down to add a new event. So you'll do the same exact thing that I just did there, right? So, okay guys, so that's how I set up all my airplanes from the beginning. Now, as you fly your airplane and get used to it, you say, oh, I want a little bit more in my mid rates. You can increase or decrease that. So it's very, very easy to do. Alright guys, so thanks for joining my video. That was just a real quick one that I decided to throw in there because I had a viewer request. You'll see me out in the field with me, my son, and my daughter, possibly my wife, flying this Eflite Timber. The reason I got it is because it's a really tame flying airplane. It can fly really slow without stalling, and it has the safe system in it. So my wife or my son or my daughter can flick that safe button to self-level and get out of any type of trouble that they might have. So anyway, I'm looking forward to that. They're enjoying flying as well as I'm enjoying watching them learn how to fly, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.